today we talked about adding and subtracting, so now we're going to talk about multiplying and dividing, which is very simple. It's just like we multiply fractions, top times top, bottom times bottom. So coefficient times coefficient, radicand times radicand. As long as, now b has to be greater than or equal to 0, and d also has to be greater than or equal to 0, because we are going to learn you cannot take the square root of a negative number. So, here is an example. It is really very simple. 3 times the square root of 6 times 4 on the square root of 5. So we're going to multiply our coefficients. 3 times 4. We're going to multiply our radicand. 6 times 5. 12 on the square root of 30. Now, you do need to make sure that your radicand is simplified. 30 is 2 times 15, which is 3 times 5. I have no pairs, so I know that I am done. Okay? We'll do another example. Down here, we'll try 2 times the square root of 2x squared multiplied by 3x on the square root of x squared. So again, coefficient times coefficient, 2 times 3x, radicand times radicand. So I have 6x is my coefficient. Now be careful here. We have x squared, which are 2 pairs. So I already had an x outside, and I'm going to have 2 more. So now I have 3 total x's outside, which leaves me just a 2 inside. Okay? We can try another one of these. We'll say 2 times the square root of 10 and 3 times the square root of 6. So again, coefficient times coefficient, radicand times radicand, so 6 on the square root of 60. But again, you need to double check that the square root of 60 is simplified. I'm going to tell you that it's not. 2 and 30, 2 and 15, 3 and 5. So I have a pair. Now, I already have a 6 outside, but we've talked about this. So 6 times 2, and left inside is 3 times 5, 15. So my simplified version is 12 times the square root of 15. I would like you to practice on page 308 the try these A, letters A through D at the bottom of the page, and we can check those tomorrow. We're also going to talk about division. Dividing is just as easy as multiplying, where you're going to divide your coefficient and you're going to divide your radicand. Again, b and d need to be greater than or equal to 0. We're not going to have any negative numbers. So if I gave you the square root of 6 over the square root of 2, we're going to write that as one big radicand, square root of 6 over 2, and I know that is the square root of 3, which does not simplify. 2 times the square root of 10 over 3 times the square root of 2. So 2 over 3, and then one big radicand of 10 over 2. 2/3 times the square root of 5. Square root of 5 does not simplify. I'm going to give you 3 on here to try. So we'll have a total of 7 possible bonus points. 3 times the square root of 32 over the square root of 2. The square root of 75 over the square root of 5. 6 square root of 98 x to the 4th over the square root of 2x. We will see you tomorrow.